Economy of the Czech Republic. Published November the 30th, 2017. Special characters are denoted as follows. And. Left and right parentheses. A bullet point. An indented bullet point. The economy of the Czech Republic is a developed export-oriented social market economy based on services, manufacturing and innovation, that maintains a high-income welfare state and the continental type of the European social model. The Czech Republic is participating in the European single market as a member of the European Union, and is therefore a part of the economy of the European Union, but uses its own currency, the Czech koruna, instead of the euro. It is a member of the OECD. As of 2016, the Czech GDP per capita at purchasing power parity is $33,232 and $18,286 at nominal value. Its largest trading partner for both export and import is Germany. As of September 2017, the unemployment rate in the Czech Republic was the lowest in the EU at 2.7%. And the poverty rate is the second lowest of OECD members, only behind Denmark. Czech Republic ranks 24th in both the Index of Economic Freedom, ranked behind Sweden, and the Global Innovation Index, ranked behind Australia. 31st in the Global Competitiveness Report, 27th in the Ease of Doing Business Index, and 25th in the Global Enabling Trade Report, ranked behind Canada. The Czech Republic has a highly diverse economy that ranks 7th in the 2016 Economic Complexity Index. The industry sector accounts for 37.5% of the economy, while services for 60% and agriculture for 2.5%. The principal industries are high-tech engineering, electronics, automotive and machine building, steel production, transportation equipment, chemical production and pharmaceuticals. The major services are research and development, ICT and software development, nanotechnology and life sciences, among others. Its main agricultural products are cereals, vegetable oils and hops. Part 1. History. Part 1. History. Chapter 1. Pre-1989. The Czech lands were among the first industrialized countries in continental Europe during the German Confederation era. The Czech industrial tradition dates back to the 19th century, when the lands of the Bohemian Crown were the economic and industrial heartland of the Austrian Empire and later the Austrian side of Austria-Hungary. The Czech lands produced a majority, about 70%, of all industrial goods in the empire, some of which were almost monopolistic. The Czechoslovak crown was introduced in April 1919. Introduced at a 1-to-1 ratio to the Austro-Hungarian currency, it became one of the most stable currencies in Europe. The consequences of the 1938 Munich Agreement were disastrous for the economy. Citation needed. After the occupation and forced subordination of the economy to German economic interests, the crown was officially pegged to the mark at a ratio of 1:10, even though the unofficial exchange rate was 1:6-7, and Germans immediately started buying Czech goods in large quantities. In accordance with Stalin's development policy of planned interdependence, all the economies of the socialist countries were tightly linked to that of the Soviet Union. Czechoslovakia was the most prosperous country in the Eastern Bloc, however it continued to lag further behind the rest of the developed world. With the disintegration of the Communist Economic Alliance in 1991, Czech manufacturers lost their traditional markets among former communist countries in the East. Today, this heritage is both an asset and a liability. The Czech Republic has a well-educated population and a well-developed infrastructure. Part 1. History. Chapter 2. 1989 to 1995. The Velvet Revolution in 1989, offered a chance for profound and sustained political and economic reform. Signs of economic resurgence began to appear in the wake of the shock therapy that the International Monetary Fund (IMF) labeled the Big Bang of January 1991. Since then, consistent liberalization and astute economic management has led to the removal of 95% of all price controls, low unemployment, a positive balance of payments position, a stable exchange rate, a shift of exports from former communist economic bloc markets to Western Europe, and relatively low foreign debt. Inflation has been higher than in some other countries, mostly in the 10% range. Citation needed, and the government has run consistent modest budget deficits. Citation needed. To government priorities have been strict fiscal policies and creating a good climate for incoming investment in the Republic. Following a series of currency devaluations, the crown has remained stable in relation to the US dollars. Citation needed. The Czech crown became fully convertible for most business purposes in late 1995. In order to stimulate the economy and attract foreign partners, the government has revamped the legal and administrative structure governing investment. With the breakup of the Soviet Union, the country, till that point highly dependent on exports to the USSR, had to make a radical shift in economic outlook, away from the East and towards the West. This necessitated the restructuring of existing banking and telecommunications facilities, as well as adjusting commercial laws and practices to fit Western standards. Further minimizing reliance on a single major partner, successive Czech governments have welcomed U.S. investment, amongst others, as a counterbalance to the strong economic influence of Western European partners, especially of their powerful neighbor, Germany. Although foreign direct investment, FDI, runs in uneven cycles, with a 12.9% share of total FDI between 1990 and March 1998, the US was the third largest foreign investor in the Czech economy, behind Germany and the Netherlands. Progress toward creating a stable investment climate was recognized when the Czech Republic became the first post-communist country to receive an investment-grade credit rating by international credit institutions. Citation needed. The country boasts a flourishing consumer production sector and has privatized most state-owned heavy industries through the voucher privatization system. Under the system, every citizen was given the opportunity to buy, for a moderate price, a book of vouchers that represents potential shares in any state-owned company. The voucher holders could then invest their vouchers, increasing the capital base of the chosen company, and creating a nation of citizen shareholders. This is in contrast to Russian privatization, which consisted of sales of communal assets to private companies rather than share transfer to citizens. The effect of this policy has been dramatic. Under communism, state ownership of businesses was estimated to be 97%. Citation needed. Privatization through restitution of real estate to the former owners was largely completed in 1992. By 1998, more than 80% of enterprises were in private hands. Now completed. Citation needed. The program has made Czechs, who own shares of each of the Czech companies, one of the highest per capita share owners in the world. Citation needed. Part 1, History. Chapter 3, 1995 to 2000. The country's economic transformation was far from complete. Political and financial crises in 1997 shattered the Czech Republic's image as one of the most stable and prosperous of post-communist states. Delays in enterprise restructuring and failure to develop a well-functioning capital market played major roles in Czech economic troubles, which culminated in a currency crisis in May. The formerly pegged currency was forced into a floating system as investors sold their korunas faster than the government could buy them. This followed a worldwide trend to divest from developing countries that year. Investors also worried the republic's economic transformation was far from complete. Another complicating factor was the current account deficit, which reached nearly 8% of GDP. In response to the crisis, two austerity packages were introduced later in the spring. Called vernacularly the packages, which cut government spending by 2.5% of GDP. Growth dropped to 0.3% in 1997 to 1997% in 1998 and minus 0.5% in 1999. The government established a restructuring agency in 1999 and launched a revitalization program to spur the sale of firms to foreign companies. Key priorities included accelerating legislative convergence with EU norms, restructuring enterprises, and privatizing banks and utilities. The economy, fueled by increased export growth and investment, was expected to recover by 2000. Part 1. History. Chapter 4, 2000 to 2005. Growth in 2000-05 was supported by exports to the EU, primarily to Germany, and a strong recovery of foreign and domestic investment. Domestic demand is playing an ever more important role in underpinning growth as interest rates drop and the availability of credit cards and mortgages increases. Current account deficits of around 5% of GDP are beginning to decline as demand for Czech products in the European Union increases. Inflation is under control. Recent accession to the EU gives further impetus and direction to structural reform. In early 2004, the government passed increases in the value-added tax, VAT, and tightened eligibility for social benefits with the intention to bring the public finance gap down to 4% of GDP by 2006, but more difficult pension and healthcare reforms will have to wait until after the next elections. Privatization of the state-owned telecommunications firm Český Telecom took place in 2005. Intensified restructuring among large enterprises, improvements in the financial sector, and effective use of available EU funds should strengthen output growth. Part 1. History. Chapter 5, 2005 to 2010. Growth continued in the first years of the EU membership. The credit portion of the financial crisis of 2007 to 2010 did not affect the Czech Republic much, mostly due to its stable banking sector, which has learned its lessons during a smaller crisis in the late 1990s and became much more cautious. As a fraction of the GDP, the Czech public debt is among the smallest ones in Central and Eastern Europe. Moreover, unlike many other post-communist countries, an overwhelming majority of the household debt, over 99%, is denominated in the local Czech currency. That's why the country wasn't affected by the shrunken money supply in the US dollars. However, as a large exporter, the economy was sensitive to the decrease of the demand in Germany and other trading partners. In the middle of 2009, the annual drop of the GDP for 2009 was estimated around 3% or 4.3%, a relatively modest decrease. The impact of the economic crisis may have been limited by the existence of the national currency that temporarily weakened in H1 of 2009, simplifying the life of the exporters. Part 1. History. Chapter 6, 2010 to 2015. From the financial crisis of 2007 to 2010, Czech Republic is in stagnation or decreasing of GDP. Some commenters and economists criticizing fiscally conservative policy of Petr right-wing government, especially criticizing ex-Minister of Finance, Miroslav Kalousek. Miroslav Kalousek, in a 2008 interview, as Minister of Finance in the centre-right government of Mirek Topolánek, said Czech Republic will not suffer by financial crisis. In September 2008, Miroslav Kalousek formed state budget with projection of 5% GDP increase in 2009. In 2009 and 2010, Czech Republic suffered strong economical crisis and GDP decreased by 4.5%. From 2009 to 2012, Czech Republic suffered highest state budget deficits in history of independent Czech Republic. From 2008 to 2012, the public debt of Czech Republic increased by 18.9%. Most decrease of industrial output was in construction industry. Minus 25% in 2009, 15.5% in 2013. From 4Q 2009 to 1Q 2013, GDP decreased by 7.8%. In 2012, Czech government increased VAT. Basic VAT was increased from 20% in 2012 to 21% in 2013 and reduced VAT increased from 14% to 15% in 2013. Small enterprises sales decreased by 21% from 2012 to 2013 as a result of increasing VAT. Patria.cz predicting sales stagnation and mild increase in 2013. Another problem is foreign trade. The Czech Republic is considered an export economy. The Czech Republic has strong machinery and automobile industries. However, in 2013, foreign trade rapidly decreased, which led to many other problems and increase of state budget deficit. In 2013, Czech National Bank, central bank, implemented controversial monetary step. To increase export and employment, CNB willfully deflated Czech crown CZK, which inflation increased from 0.2% in November 2013 to 1.3% in 1Q 2014. In 2014, GDP in the Czech Republic increased by 2% and is predicted to increase by 2.7% in 2015. In 2015, Czech Republic's economy grew by 4.2% and it's the fastest growing economy in the European Union. On the 29th of May 2015, it was announced that growth of the Czech economy has increased from calculated 3.9% to 4.2%. Part 1. History. Chapter 7. 2015 Present. In August 2015, Czech GDP growth was 4.4%, making the Czech economy the highest growing in Europe. On the 9th of November 2015, unemployment in the Czech Republic was at 5.9%, the lowest number since February 2009. In September 2016, the unemployment was at 4.0%. In 2016, for first time since 1995, Czech Republic had budget surplus 61 billion CZK. In the year ending by summer 2017, the Czech GDP grew by 4.7%, the third fastest in Europe, and unemployment was at 3% or 4% in the European or national conventions, by far the lowest rate in Europe. Part 2. European Union. Since its accession to the European Union in 2004, the Czech Republic has adopted the Economic and Monetary Union of the European Union. Part 3. Public Policy. As of 2016, the Czech Republic has the second lowest poverty rate of OECD members, only behind Denmark. Part 4. Energy. The Czech Republic is reducing its dependence on highly polluting low-grade brown coal as a source of energy. Nuclear power currently provides about 30% of total power needs, and its share is projected to increase to 40%. Natural gas is procured from Russian Gazprom, roughly 3/4 of domestic consumption, and from Norwegian companies, most of the remaining 1/4. Russian gas is imported via Ukraine. Friendship pipeline. Norwegian gas is transported through Germany. The gas consumption. Approximately 100 TWh in 2003 to 5. is almost 2 times higher than the electricity consumption. South Moravia has a small amount of oil and gas deposits. Part 5. Statistical indicators. Content flagged as having old or out-of-date information from the CIA World Factbook 2017. Part 5. Statistical indicators. Chapter 1. Background. GDP. pp. $353.9 billion. 2016. GDP. NOM. $195.3 billion. 2016. GDP growth 2.6%. 2016. GDP per capita. pp. $33,500. 2016. GDP per capita. NOM. $18,487. 2016. GDP by sector. Agriculture, 2.5%, industry, 37.5%, services, 60%. 2016. Inflation, 0.7%. 2016. Labor force, 5.35 million. 2016. Unemployment, 4.2%. July 2016. Industrial production growth rate, 3.5%. 2016. Household income or consumption by percentage share. 2015. Lowest 10%, 4.1%. Highest 10%, 21.7% public debt, 36.8% GDP. 2016. Part 5. Statistical indicators. Chapter 2. Trade and finance. Exports, $131.1 billion. Export goods, machinery and transport equipment, raw materials, fuel, chemicals. 2016. Imports, $120.8 billion. Import goods, machinery and transport equipment, raw materials and fuels, chemicals. 2016. Current account balance, $2.154 billion. 2016. Export partners, Germany 32.4%, Slovakia 8.4%, Poland 5.8%, UK 5.2%, France 5.2%, Italy 4.3%, Austria 4.2%. 2016. Import partners, Germany 30.6%, Poland 9.6%, China 7.5%, Slovakia 6.3%, Netherlands 5.3%, Italy 4.1%. 2016. Reserves, $85.73 billion. The 31st of December 2016. Foreign direct investment, $139.6 billion. The 31st of December 2016. Czech investment abroad, $43.09 billion. The 31st of December 2016. External debt, $138 billion. The 31st of December 2016. Value of publicly traded shares, $44.5 billion. The 31st of December 2016. Exchange rates. Koruna. KC. Per $1 US, minus 24.67. May 2015. 18.75. December 2010. 18.277. 2007. 23.957. 2005. 25.7. 2004. 28.2. 2003. 32.7. 2002. 38.0. 2001. 38.6. 2001. 34.6. 1999. 32.3. 1998. 31.7. 1997. 27.1. 1996. 26.5. 1995. Koruna. KC. Per EUR €1 minus 27.33. May 2015. 25.06. December 2010. Part 5. Statistical Indicators. Chapter 3. Energy. Production and consumption. Electricity production, 81.71 billion kWh. 2012. Electricity production by source. Fossil fuel, 75.54%. Hydro, 2.55%. Nuclear, 20.37%. Other, 1.54%. 1998. Electricity consumption, 99,984,629,999.7 billion kWh. 2012. Electricity exports, 27.46 billion kWh. 2013. Electricity imports, 10.57 billion kWh. 2013. Oil production, 18,030 barrels per day. 2,867 cubic meters per day. 2005. Oil consumption, 213,000 barrels per day. 33,900 cubic meters per day. 2005 Est. Oil exports, 20,930 barrels per day. 3,328 cubic meters per day. 2004. Oil imports, 203,700 barrels per day. 32,390 cubic meters per day. 2004. Oil proved reserves, 15 million barrels. 2,400,000 cubic meters. The 1st of January 2006. Natural gas production, 252 million m3. 2013 Est. Natural gas consumption, 8.477 billion m3. 2013 Est. Natural gas exports, 8 million m3. 2013 Est. Natural gas imports, 8.479 billion m3. 2013 Est. Natural gas proved reserves, 4.276 billion m3. The 1st of January 2014 Est. Natural resources, coal, timber, lignite, uranium, magnesite. Agriculture products, wheat, rye, oats, corn, barley, potatoes, rappy soil, sugar beets, hops, fruit, pigs, cattle, poultry, horses, forest products. Part 5, Statistical Indicators. Chapter 4, IT and Telecommunications. Households with access to fixed and mobile telephone access. Landline telephone, minus 25%. 2009. According to the Czech Statistical Office, 55,2%. 2005. 31,1%. 2008. 27,6%. 2009. 24,2%. 2010. 23,4%. 2011. 21,8%. 2012. Mobile telephone, minus 94%. 2009. According to the Czech Statistical Office, 81,2%. 2005. 92,4%. 2008. 94,6%. 2009. 95,6%. 2010. 96,2%. 2011. 97,0%. 2012. Individuals with mobile telephone access. According to the Czech Statistical Office, 75,8%. 2005. 90,6%. 2009. 93,9%. 2011. 96,0%. 2012. 96,0%. 2013. Broadband penetration rate. Fixed broadband, minus 19.1%. 2010. Mobile broadband, minus 3.5%. 2010. Individuals using computer and internet. Computer, minus 67%. 2009. According to the Czech Statistical Office, 42,0%. 2005. 59,2%. 2009. 64,1%. 2010. 67,1%. 2011. 69,5%. 2012. 70,2%. 2013. Internet, minus 64%. 2009. According to the Czech Statistical Office, 32,1%. 2005. 55,9%. 2009. 61,8%. 2010. 65,5%. 2011. 69,5%. 2012. 70,4%. 2013. This recording is a derivative work from Wikipedia. For more information, please visit www.frogcast.org.